What's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good joints? It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I am here to do that on this Thursday. I think it's Thursday, pretty sure. I hate to fool myself, get me all excited thinking tomorrow's Friday and coming to find out, oops, I was a day early. Today we want to take a little trip through Water's World to find out why Trump supporters are so loyal because, they think we're just in a cult, like the Democrat voters, and we're not. We're not. So with that being said, first of all, can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Check one, breaker, 1-9. If you can hear me, then I assume you can see me. And so I might as well go ahead and get busy. Somebody said, good. Yeah. So then let's rock the planet. Beat our chest like a real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now I saw somebody say they checking in from Connecticut. What's happening? I like to greet all the people, especially when I see some places where I'm going, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, we're doing a little land rovering. So thank you for checking out the show tonight. Now, before we get into it, don't forget, I do have a corner store. You can purchase some merchandise if you like. Detroit's in the house. Yeah, so you can purchase some merchandise if you like. The links are below each video. And if you want to support the channel through my CASHAPP or my PayPal, you can do that as well. The links are below, or you can just support it through the super chat. So now the time is 6:30, and my goal is to try to make this happen as quickly as I can. So we might as well get into it. Because, guys, we are finding out that these liberal loony judges are also down with MS-13 and Trente Diagra or whatever their name is. Yeah, man. All these judges that for whatever reason got a problem with us deporting all of these illegal immigrant gang members. We might have found one that would explain why. Check this crazy story out right here, y'all. Y'all won't believe this one.
A New Mexico judge resigned from the bench after an alleged Tren de Aragua gang member was arrested at his home. Doña Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano wrote his resignation on March 3rd, but the Supreme Court and 3rd Judicial District Court did not receive it till March 31st. A spokesman for the Administrative Office of the Court's AOC told
AOC? What she got to do with this? Bubble one? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It's a different AOC.
told Fox News Digital. Homeland Security Investigations Las Cruces began looking into Venezuelan native Christian Ortega Lopez in January.
Look at that.
Lopez is an illegal alien from Venezuela and a suspected member of a criminal gang who was residing with other illegal aliens and in possession of firearms, court documents suggest.
Oh, man. So that's real. That's a real activist right there. He ain't just one of those pretend activist judges or a judge that, just simply gets a word from the Democrat Party. You might want to make a ruling on this or stop Trump, whatever. Okay, sure, I'll sign off on it. No, this guy was an active participant in their lives. Did he, as a judge, not sense that the dark side was strong in that young man? Did he not sense that? What kind of judge are you? You can't sniff out some corruption. How stupid is your judgment if you're a judge that's hanging out and allowing gang members to live at your crib and I guess go out and shoot guns and stuff like that? Let's finish hearing about this crazy judge.
2 search warrants were executed at a home investigators on February 28th, identified as owned by Cano's wife, Nancy Cano. Ortega Lopez and his roommates were taken into custody, and agents seized 4 firearms from April Cano's residence. April Cano is the daughter of Nancy and Joel. Court documents state Ortega Lopez was found by investigators posing with weapons in social media posts.
See, that'll get you. So now here you're a judge, and you're allowing these gang members, illegal immigrant gang members, to take pictures and post them all online and stuff like that. So when they get popped, they'll be asked, where'd you get that gun from? What gun is that? Who owns that gun? The judge that I live with? Now, how stupid is this judge? But hey, he's a Democrat, I'm sure of it. So I guess he is putting his money where his mouth is, because oftentimes I say, why don't you let these gang members come live with you? I guess he decided to take me up on the offer.
Some of which he said were owned by April Cano, who allowed him to hold and sometimes shoot various firearms.
Somebody noticed that? Somebody said, Kevin, is that ink on your thumb? It sure is, y'all. I got a black thumb. Apparently, the metal that I work with at work, we have to take this thing and stamp it, every time the boxes and stuff like that. We put the metal in the boxes, all that stuff, and we rearrange it. Somehow my raggedy gloves, I guess, didn't hold up. And the ink went right through and it dotted my thumb. And I've been scrubbing all day to get it off. And it won't come off. So, yeah. Trust me, I'm aware of it. But you guys are so perceptive. I'm sure I knew somebody was going to check out the thumb, because I'm always putting my hands up like this. I know they were like, what is that on your thumb? Yeah, it's ink. Maybe by tomorrow it'll be off. Who knows? I'm going to soak it in some palmolive, something like that. But let's finish hearing about these gang members who live with this judge.
Ortega Lopez admitted to illegally entering the U.S. from Mexico in December 2023, according to
23. That was under who? Creepy, Sleepy, and under Mucus. So they came in 2023.
Court documents. He reportedly told investigators he was living in an El Paso apartment with 5 others when he met Nancy Cano. To install a glass door for her, he continued to do a few jobs for Nancy Cano, and after being evicted from the apartment in April 2024, Nancy Cano offered her casita in the back of the residence she shared with her husband, Joel Cano.
Wow.
Court documents state the suspect made his first appearance in a Las Cruces court on March 3rd.
Wow. Now, what kind of judge is this? A Democrat judge? A liberal judge? An activist judge? A sympathetic judge to illegal immigrant gang members? Just like the whole Democrat Party. I mean, you got to be something dumb to risk your career to house this young man right here. And you can't control what he does when he leaves and he's taking pictures and posting them all over the place with guns that you owned.
During a detention hearing on March 14th, U.S. Magistrate Judge Damian L. Martinez asked Assistant United States Attorney, AUSA, Maria Armijo if she knew Judge Cano. When Armijo said she did not, Judge Martinez said he had met him outside the courtroom several times, adding, I don't think he would just let anybody live in his property.
Oh, yes, he would. Would you look at that judge right in the middle of these gangbangers throwing up gangbang signs? Did the gangbangers infiltrate the judicial system? Pretty much with the Democrats. They pretty much infiltrated it by default. Just by being illegal immigrants that the Democrats brought here, that put the Democrats and a lot of stupid judges on their side. So in a way, they did infiltrate the judicial system, but this guy went all in. This guy's up there posing with him with the gang sign. I don't know what that is. I don't know what all that means. If they're throwing stuff up and you're throwing stuff up, then you might as well be a part of the crew. So look at that happy family right there. And it came back to biting.
Martinez said Ortega Lopez was not a flight risk or danger to the community and ordered him to be released.
Yeah.
On April 8th, a motion was filed by an assistant U.S. attorney to reconsider Ortega Lopez's pretrial release order.
Yeah.
Records from Doña Ana County Assessor's Office say the home Ortega Lopez was arrested at is owned by both Nancy and Jose Cano, who goes by Joel. Cano's resignation letter stated his last day on the job was March 21st.
March 21st?
All the best to every one of you, Joel Cano wrote. I wish all of you a happy retirement once you are ready yourself.
Yeah. And you received an early retirement because you made one of the dumbest judgments ever by allowing gang members to stay at your crib and have access to your guns. Wow. So it is true that Democrats aren't that smart. They're not that smart. But let's continue. I don't care what their title says. And we're about to find out in a second just how dumb they are, regardless of their title or credentials.
Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham will appoint someone to fill the vacancy through the remainder of the judge's unexpired 4-year term that runs until the end of 2026, the AOC said. The Supreme Court has scheduled an oral argument on April 24th, which is public and will be live streamed concerning Judge Cano.
Oh, sure.
Spokesman Barry Massey said.
I might have to go ahead and check that out, y'all. I might want to see the fate of the judge. I want to hear what they got to say about it. Right now, our Supreme Court is a little wishy-washy, so I don't know. We got some fake behind conservative judges that slid in and they're making some stupid choices. But yeah, that guy right there, boy, he's a sum total of stupidity. So there you have it. We now have judges hanging out with gang members at their crib. Boy, I tell you, Democrats. Oh, so now let's get into it, y'all. Woo! The psychotic Democrats. And my man Jesse Waters is going to lay out a beautiful case to show just how psychotic the Democrat Party has become. And we're not just talking about, their voters. We're talking about the actual leaders of the Democrat Party. And Jesse Waters does such a wonderful job. I said, Jesse, I'm gonna have to come to your world tonight. You done dropped so many segments out here to prove our point. I'm gonna have to let the people see it. So let's get into it. Starting off with this. To build our case.
No message. They've got no movement. They've got no leader. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. I mean, you're defending Harvard. You're traveling to El Salvador for MS-13 gang members. But here's the point. You're taking $20 million. If I'm looking at someone, my vice chair, the RNC, taking $20 million for another effort, it's $20 million out of the DNC's pocket. You can't be on the board of the Fishing and Forest Company and on Greenpeace at the same time.
Yeah, they're schizophrenic. There you go. They're fighting for women's rights at the same time destroying women's rights and all of that stuff. Yeah, they're wishy-washy. They don't know. That's one of the symptoms of being psychotic. Yeah, sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. You don't know if you want to be a pancake or a waffle. And so these Democrats and all their activism oftentimes bumps heads with each other. Okay, so now we got this young, I guess, Democrat operative, David Hogg, okay, the actor. He's now in some position of power or something like that. And a lot of Democrats are saying he's toxic. So word on the street, they're trying to get rid of him already. But nonetheless, this guy right here is about to jump in and jump on this man who simply stated a fact about that MS-13 gang member. And watch David Hogg show us all how smart he is and who he supports.
Can I hold the party accountable? I think it's right.
Yeah, let me push back again.
Let me push back a little bit.
This was not an MS-13 gang member, and you damn well know that.
Oh, God. And you know that, David Hogg? How would you know, David? Huh? I mean, this is unbelievable. You hear that? He said it emphatically. And you darn well know that. So what happens when all that proof and evidence come out? Is he going to go back and say, oops, my fault? I was so confident as a young Pop-Tart who got out there talking about something. Let me step it. You see, he tried to make it seem like, excuse me, hold on, I handle this. Came in off the bench talking about that. First of all, just not a MS-13 gang member. You darn well know that. Well, he's about to get in a rude awakening. And you wonder why people look at the Democrat Party as they're crazy and psychotic.
Oh, come on.
He was not.
Come on.
You're defending this guy.
The administration admitted this was wrong. In America, we have due process and we have law and order. We are a land of law and order. And this administration is repeatedly showing time and time again, they do not care about what the Supreme Court says. They do not care about the rule of law. And you cannot defend sending people to another country.
So wait a minute. We're a country of law and order that allowed 11 plus million illegal immigrants from all over the world, not South America only, all over the world to just come into our country. But we're a country of law and order, right? And you can't just send people out of the country with due process, but you can let them in. You can let them in without due process, right? We don't have to scan them, screen them, none of that stuff. Mucus made it real easy for our newcomers, our visitors, our almost Americans already. Yeah, he made it very comfortable for them. And so now here this guy and all the Democrats are talking about due process, law and order, while the border was chaotic. Did it look like law and order while we watch hundreds of thousands of them coming, walking in big fat caravans, coming right on across? Did it look like law and order when they ran through our border patrol agents and our guards that we put down there? Just ran right past them. Did that look like law and order? But now all of a sudden they want due process and law and order. We're a country of law and order.
Paul,
this is another country where they don't have rights.
Think that all illegal immigrants should be deported.
Now see, The young Pop-Tart is not listening. He needs to listen to his elders. He's too busy trying to, go off with his fat lips. And, you know what? Well, the guy just said, you don't realize that most Americans want all illegal immigrants deported. See, I'm not just focused on the criminals. That's nice and all. That's nice and all. But I want them all deported. That's what the Democrats don't get. We're not sitting back just picking on the illegal immigrant gang members. Yeah, they have priority, but I want them all deported. And I guess what the statistics show, the polling showed that most Americans want them all deported. Yeah, they didn't ask the question, do you want just the illegal immigrant gang members deported? No, they asked, how many of you guys would like to see all illegal immigrants deported? Ooh, 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 ooh. All those hands went up. But David Hogg, he's not reading the temperature.
By the way, so you're losing your effort. So if you want to try to defend the constitutionality of deporting a illegal immigrant that's here, he took a lot of time to come after me. He's here illegally. They check in Intel community, every Intel community agency and the White House say he is a member of MS.
Yeah, but see, they wanted to believe the Intel community when they lied about Trump, though, right? When they came out talking that laptop, rather, all the hallmarks of the Russia disinformation campaign. But now all of a sudden, all of this Intel community data and stuff like that says that man was a part of MS-13. But David Hogg says, you know what? He's not a part of MS-13, and you darn well know it.
Right. Okay. Right.
So now here we go, y'all. Oh yeah. Starting off with this psychotic woman right here. You got to be crazy to say what she's about to say. Listen to this.
Bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk.
Right there. Right off grid. Now, why are they bringing her raggedy behind with those long behind eyelashes that you can cool somebody off with? Oh, you hot, baby? There you go. Just blink and blow some wind on them with those long eyelashes. But she went on a late night talk show. So I guess all these liberal platforms don't realize the damage that they're doing to the Democrat Party by bringing her on and highlighting her. But she's good for ratings. She's bad, though, for PR. She's bad for common sense people who saying, I once was a Democrat, but I'm seeing a lot of crazy folks come out here and say crazy things like, you know what? The idiot Elon Musk. This woman just called Elon stupid.
He knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't.
He knows how to hire smart people. Okay, so this man right here has to be smart enough to know how to hire smart people and know what he's looking for within those smart people. Yeah, he has to be the brainchild that brings it all together and coordinates it, right? But according to her, all of these wonderful projects, all of these businesses he's made successful, it wasn't because of him and all of his craftiness and his intelligence and his visions and all of that stuff. It was because he just hired smart people. That's all it was. So now she goes on there, and just that statement alone shows us that this woman is dumb and she's psychotic. She don't know reality from truth, or is she just lying? Because the reality is Elon Musk is brilliant.
It says a lot when you literally are supposed to be the leader of the free world and you're worried about a rising sophomore in the house.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or you wish she was on your side. He also called you low IQ. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yeah, he called you low IQ. Low as you can go. How low can you go? Can you go down low? That's right. So she is low IQ. So that's who they are sending out there. The crazies. The ones that people go, what in the world are the Democrat Party turning into?
Be willing to take an IQ test publicly, head to head against the president of the United States.
Absolutely. And get blown away. And get blown away. Absolutely. With confidence, because she know that that's never going to happen, and she would never commit to that, even though she says absolutely. I wish Trump would call her card. Let's do it. IQ test. Let's make it happen. I was just playing. No, I wasn't. Let's do it. Yeah. See, but nonetheless, there she is talking about absolutely continue to help me brand myself and destroy the party while doing it, because that's all she's doing. as she's running around making herself more marketable and popular as some type of social media presence. But when it comes down to voting, when it comes down to serious things, anybody out there taking her seriously?
I actually wanted to be an anesthesiologist.
For what?
So I've always been really good at math and science, but I didn't want to talk to people.
Yeah, you shouldn't be talking to people now. And if I walked into the anesthesiologist joint and you're about to put me to sleep with those eyelashes, I'll be like, hey, whoa, what's the deal, man? I don't want one of those to break off and lodge itself within me. I don't want that. So eyelashes want to be an anesthesiologist.
You wanted to put people to sleep, and you kind of are doing the opposite thing.
Yes, I want them to be woke now.
Yep, and that's exactly what you ooze out every time you go on TV. That's exactly what you are, woke. And folks have rejected wokeness. But it's okay, though. Keep sending them out there, because of things like this.
Lowest net favorable rating since the 90s.
Woo-wee! Y'all see those stats? For the Democrats, lowest since the 90s.
What do you think's driving that? Why are Democrats so relatively unpopular?
A sense that Democrats were cultural elites, on how they talked, issues they cared about.
Yeah, cultural elites, how they talk, issues that they care about, like MS-13 crime, gang members, things like that.
All the DEI programs.
DEI.
And so essentially, I think the vast majority, a lot of people in America in the middle of the country thought Democrats were looking down on them. And they weren't competent to govern.
Looking down on them. And they wonder why they got rejected. Going out there calling everybody white supremacists. If you're black and you're not voting for Kamala, you sell out. Uncle Tom. Barack belittling the brothers. Listen, I want to talk to the brothers. All of that stuff. A whole bunch of Nazis, whole bunch of racists, whole bunch of you-know-whats and stuff. And then they got their butt smashed. So in comes Jesse. Come on, Jesse. Lay it on them thick.
There's another word for that. Snobs. We live in a representative republic. Politicians are at least supposed to pretend to represent the people. The country says, we don't want DEI. Democrats say, yeah, you do. The country says, we don't want gay porn in kindergarten. And the Democrats went to the Supreme Court and said, yeah, you do.
Y'all hear? These are the reasons. Jesse's breaking it down in reality. See, the Democrats were not operating in reality. Their reality was everybody believes what we believe, obey us. We don't have to put effort into, going out and campaigning and convincing the people. Don't worry about it. The media will take care of it for us. The entertainers will take care of it for us. I mean, heck, we're smart. Our ideas are popular amongst people. Why should we invest time going out and listening to these low-level, low-class peasants? We don't want to hear from them, okay? If they're not on board with our crazy liberal agenda, then they're obviously racist, sexist, xenophobe, homophobes. So now Jesse's laying it down. So let me understand, Jesse. Unlike the old school politicians who at least fake it till they make it, when the people would come out and say, we don't want that, they would go, that's right. I support you guys. And if you elect me, I will definitely, and then do the opposite. These are the dumb ones. This is the new type of politicians where they're going, you know what? The people said that this is unpopular. We don't like it. But you know what? So what? What's the percentage on that? Only 20% people support what we're doing. And we're losing the 80. We can live with that. I think you could win elections with 20%.
Pride Puppy was the book that was used for the pre-kindergarten curriculum. That's no longer in the curriculum.
That's the one.
First of all, that man needs bass in his voice. That man went up to the Supreme Court mad because they couldn't put nasty books in the kindergarten class. And they wonder why they lost the election. Do you think the average American is okay with some basics, PORN, in the classrooms with the kindergartners? But this guy, he went to the Supreme Court to fight it.
One where they are supposed to look for the leather and things and bondage, things like that.
Now you see him trying to wordsmith his way around the Supreme Court, asking him, are you pushing dirty, nasty books on the kindergartners? And watch his answer. He's like, what do you mean? It's just about searching for leather and whips and chains. We're teaching the kids how to find whips and chains and leather. That's all the book is about.
do? The country says, we don't want gay porn in kindergarten. And the Democrats went to the Supreme Court and said, yeah, you do.
Pride Puppy was the book that was used for the pre-kindergarten curriculum. That's no longer in the curriculum.
That's the one where they are supposed to look for the leather and things and bondage, things like that.
It's not bondage, it's a woman in a leather.
Sex worker, right?
It's not bondage, it's a woman in a leather. You see the word smithing? So here she is all bonded up probably in the book with leather on, leather mask and all of that. And he's like, it's not bondage, it's just a woman tied up very tightly in all leather. You think that's gonna fly in front of the Supreme Court? Watch him, ask him like, now, are you sure?
No, that's not correct. No.
I thought, I read it.
It's a drag queen.
Drag queen and drag queen.
You see that? Had to go ahead and force him to admit it's a drag queen. And they wonder why people were mad. They wonder why folks were showing up at all those town halls for the kids and stuff like that. And they were upset. And what did Joe Biden and the rest of the Democrats do? Persecuted these people. Said they're out there trying to ban books. And you know what? Let's go ahead and show up, send some FBI agents down there to go ahead and harass some folks. Put people on list. Calling people all kind of names like bigots, and you hate kids because you don't want them reading garbage like that. What else, Jesse? What else shows the Democrats are psychotic?
Drag queen. Imagine going all the way to the Supreme Court to demand drag queens in kindergarten. Catholic parents, Jews, Muslim parents all said no. The Democrats said, hey, we're going to teach your 6-year-old about gay sex, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's the mission. I mean, no matter how much the public push back, they're like, no, we're going to shove this mess down your throat. You would have thought after they lost in November, they would have pumped the brakes on it. But they got too many crazy radical ones involved in the party now. See, it's been co-opted. It's been infiltrated. Right now it's running through the Democrat Party system. That's what's happening. See, they're being attacked by wokeness.
Country in a landslide election said, we don't want boys and girls locker rooms. And Democrats said, you're all bigots and we'll see you in court.
I'd like to announce that I'm suing the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Look, that's Keith Ellison up there in Tampon Tim Town. That's where he lives, Tampon Tim Town. Now, this is the guy that I was mentioning the other day, that his girlfriend didn't get no Me Too. She ain't getting none of that. They ran all out of it. She went down to the store like, I got a swirl up eye. One of my teeth are loose. Keith Ellison beat me up. Y'all got any Me Too to heal these wounds? No, man, we just sort out of all the Me Too. That's right. Well, who bought all that Me Too? Keith Ellison. Yeah, he made sure you weren't getting no some Me Too. A whole Democrat Party. They did an internal investigation on him. Regardless of her going to the hospital the day that she got smacked around for not taking the trash out, and took the pictures and all that stuff and reported it. And they said, no, let's not let the radical liberal police handle this investigation. We'll do an internal one. And what do you know? They found no wrongdoing by him smacking his girlfriend around. And now here he is out here fighting to, I guess, allow kids to go in bathrooms they shouldn't be in.
And Attorney General Pam Bondi and the United States Department of Justice. Here's the opening line of our lawsuit. Minnesota brings this lawsuit to stop President Trump and his administration from bullying vulnerable children.
Now notice the terminology that they use. It's bullying vulnerable children. Now, that's very simplistic. You're telling these people, once again, you got to internalize what this man just said. You're suggesting that Trump and this administration are going around bullying kids. Out of all the things they could be doing. They want to stop and bully some kids. You know what I think we should do today? Let's go bully some kids. Sir, that seems kind of out of the norm. I don't care. Let's go to the playground. Let's go to these schools and start bullying some kids. That's how simple this man just put that. And see, when you really think about it, you go, whoa. You want me to believe that the president has carved out time and made it a priority to go bully kids? Or could it be something else, but you're using the statement that he's bullying kids to cover up what's really going on? Could that be it? Bullying kids sound horrible and might open up the heartstrings of dumb people who don't realize that, wait a minute, why would Trump be bullying kids? It got to be more to it than what this bum is talking about. So now, when you hear a grown man and a whole political party are suggesting that little boys should be able to go in and out of girls' bathrooms and vice versa, they should be able to go through some type of procedures under 18 to, pick up another gender or so. When you hear all of these adults pushing this and supporting this, you have to conclude they're either psychotic or they're evil, which I think both. So now, do you want to be a part of this psychotic party that's okay with little boys in girls' bathrooms?
In this state, we will not participate in this shameful bullying.
Tampons AG is taking Trump to court, so high school girls have to shower with boys.
You hear that? Don't that sound psychotic? Don't that sound muy loco? Don't that sound crazy? Driving me crazy. That's what these Democrats are rocking, man. Yeah. So that's what they're suing for. We're suing so your little girls got to be subjected to little boys who think they're little girls in the bathroom, in the changing room with them. That's psychotic. What else, Jesse? What else? You can't just call these people crazy without the proof.
This is the party who said, believe all women. And all women said, get these guys out of the showers. They're creeping us out. This is the party that said college boys, before they kiss their girlfriends, have to ask for consent. Yeah. And now they're saying boys can just waltz into the girls' locker room, strip down, and no doesn't mean no.
No doesn't mean no. See how all your wokeness will collide at some point? Yeah, you'll have a conflict of interest with that wokeness. There it is. So on one end, when the height of Me Too was raging, they were talking about you got to lower your testosterone levels, too much toxic masculinity going around. And you know what? No means no. And you can't even look at a woman too long because then that's offensive. That's offensive and all that stuff. And you got to get a contract before you can get a smooch. Hey, I was thinking about kissing you for the first time. Let me go ahead and pull out this contract right here that says that you consent with me giving you some sugar. All of that was raging. But then when it's not popular or convenient, all that goes out the window. So now what else, Jesse? Because that sounds like a crazy party to me that would fight for something so stupid.
CNN journalist asked a new media journalist who just got credentialed to the White House this. Listen.
You don't deserve to be here because you're not a real journalist. What's your response to that?
Well, I'm pretty sure the group of people in there spent, 4 years covering for someone who was essentially dead, and that's being charitable in my description of him, a president by the name of Joe Biden. So to all those people who are apoplectic over having new media voices, you guys failed, and that's why we're here.
Oh, I bet you he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for that response. Yeah, he thought he was going to belittle her. But when you look at all of these political commentators online, especially conservatives, they dibble and dabble in truth. There it is. Facts, logic, not propaganda. Then they wonder why they're losing. They wonder why all these folks are being invited into the White House, because we've been seeing that these are not networks that's covering news. They're propaganda. They're long extension arms of the Democrat Party. They're the ones who supports the crazies. They're the ones who help create the crazies. The Democrats give them the assignment, and they go out there and create a whole bunch of crazies by saying things like, normally democracies are, they fail because of it just being chipped away at. And see, if we don't go get Garcia out of El Salvador, then we're all vulnerable. They could come for us all, especially black people, saying things like that. You're creating crazy folks. That's what you're doing. So they're part of it too. So let's continue.
And journalists are so fixated on their title that you never realize other people were doing your job and doing it better. Yeah. The only real credential for a journalist is honesty. Just because you have a CNN business card doesn't make you a journalist.
Bam! Don't make you a journalist. Where's my press pass? I want some of that CNN wasted money on their commentators too. Millions of dollars for them to tell lies.
This means you work for CNN. We finally have a president who's alive. And these snobs say the president's just better off dead.
What? So now, they done lied about the one president that was walking around with wooden legs and real feet and didn't know where he was going half the time and showing his notes and stuff Oh, they told me to call on that guy. And now we got us a real president that's doing stuff. And this guy right here is upset about it, and he's about to get checked about his psychoticness, his craziness.
Did you like the 4 years of auto pen? Did you like the 11?
Yeah, actually, the markets did, the economy did. Yes, actually.
No one's wages went up, and you had 11 million illegal aliens come into this country.
Yeah, you got to give him the reality check. As he saw, but yes, I like this. You like that? Or let me remind you of what you're saying you liked. Okay. See, that's the problem with these dummies. They just come out and say it. Then you remind them. It's like, you like doo-doo? Are you kidding me? So wait a minute. Somebody put doo-doo in a sandwich and gave it to you, and you was ready to eat that mess? That's crazy. Let me remind you of it. So now here he is telling him, you like that? You like 11 million people coming in? What else?
Okay. Yeah. I know that's okay with you, but you're worried about this one going back. The rule of law was
I am worried about the rule of law.
Yeah, but not for 11 million.
Yeah. The rule of law now is important to that guy, but not for the 11 million. See, he's pointing out how crazy this man sounds. All you got to do is say it out loud to them. Tell them, wait, you supported this? You supported horrible, diplomatic policies and wars that broke out under him, and the way they handled natural catastrophes, and the way they handled COVID, and the way they locked folks down, and the way they destroyed the economy, and the way they forced folks to get vaccines. You supported that? You supported them lying to you every day about caravans of people coming and sending creepy out there to say, I can't do nothing. It's like, you know what? The Congress got to act. And then mucus running it back. The reason that the immigration system has been broken for years. And you supported that? Now you're whining about one guy who got sent out the country while you weren't whining about 11 million coming? What kind of idiot are you? Are you psychotic? Yes, he is. What else?
They totally ignored the rule of law coming here. Now you're talking about it again.
See how folks that aren't crazy thinks? That other guy who's crazy, if he's talking about, well, I thought it wasn't that bad under Biden, this and that guy had to go ahead and remind him of, dude, are you kidding me? You ignore all of that, but now you're whining about one dude who got his butt sent back home. That's where he got sent, back home, and they're whining about it. Tell us some more about these psychotic people, Jesse.
It says the country is just racist.
America made a decision that I strongly disagree with.
Oh, God. Now, see, this is another group of crazy folks that the Democrats have on their squad. John Legend, his real name is Johnny Stevens. He happens to be my pastor from Cincinnati. He happens to be his nephew. Whole family can sing. And Johnny, I guess, from Springfield, Ohio, Johnny Stevens. I guess he went out there and made all these millions, and he can't understand and relate to all these hardworking Americans that are struggling every day. And they're wondering, how are we going to compete with China? When are our jobs going to be coming back? Why are there so many illegal immigrants running around our country? Why won't the Democrats focus on, Americans versus all these other people? Why is it? But here's John's explanation.
And it seems that we are reaping the whirlwind right now. Oh, he's a bigot, so. It's a belief that there's a hierarchy of racial groups and that his group is superior, genetically superior. He believes that.
Do you understand? You're the dummy for believing that he believes that. You're the dummy. You're the psychotic one. When you're psychotic, you can't determine reality from fiction. This man really thinks Trump's the bigot, and he thinks that white folks are superior. That's why he hired all of these folks of color in his cabinet. That's why he brought those people in. These folks don't even think it through. But in that man's head, that's the motivation. They could not be so far off the mark of what's really going on. And see, that's the point where you look at them and say, you're living in a fantasy world, which makes you psychotic. In your head, that makes sense. In your head, they've convinced you that Trump's a bigot And he thinks that, I guess, his race is superior to every other race. Now, you're smart, dumb, John. Yeah. You're great with words. You're a great singer. But stick to that, okay? You're revealing that you're a dummy for saying something stupid like that.
Whenever he talks about competence and qualifications, any white man will do for him.
So that's how Trump chooses his people. Just any white man to do. Hey, Ben Carson, I know you're brilliant. You're a brain surgeon. I admire the heck out of you, but I can't bring you in because that white guy over there that has no credentials, just because he's white, he'll do. Yeah, all of the folks of color he's worked with or brought in. That's how he makes his decisions. Yeah, I don't care how stupid you are. I don't care how undereducated you are. I don't care if you don't know nothing about what we're trying to do. As long as you're white. Any white guy is better than some of the most brilliant people of color. That's John Legend's logic. That's what he thinks Donald Trump is operating by. That's what he thinks, which puts him in the category of psychotic. Who else, Jesse?
More minorities voted for Trump than any other Republican in 20 years.
Yeah, so how do you explain that, smart man? How Mr. Singer Man? How Johnny Stevens? How do you explain all of these minorities that voted for Trump? What are they seeing that you're not seeing? The truth? Is that it? Yeah, they're operating in their same brain. They can see what's really going on. That's why they didn't buy all of this stupid stuff. Trump's a Nazi. Trump's going to be a dictator on day one. Trump inspired an insurrection. Trump right there, he's racist. Trump's going to send black people back to Africa. Trump's going to start World War III. Trump's going to... They didn't buy it. Trump, look at him. He got 4 indictments. He's been impeached twice. How are you going to hire... All of that crap didn't work because we had a lot of common sense folks that aren't psychotic to buy into a false reality. Tell us more, Jesse. Show us the other stuff.
Most of the country has a connection to Trump that goes much deeper than race. Yeah. They trust him. They trust his track record, and they trust his vision for the country.
Yeah. So Jesse's about to show why Trump supporters are loyal to him.
Among those who voted for Donald Trump, they're going to back him no matter what happens. If the markets go down, they should have gone down. They were too high priced. If countries stop doing business with us, it doesn't matter because we shouldn't be doing business with them. That the Trump voters are willing to justify just about anything that Donald Trump does because they are truly loyalists.
No, it's not just because we're truly loyalists for nothing. We use our common sense. See, one thing that makes Trump supporters loyal to him is because they've seen how loyal he is to us. This person went through hell just to save America. That, of course, warrants some type of loyalty when we watched him go through all the nonsense that the Democrats put him through, 2 attempted assassinations, and all of the media attacks that he didn't have to go through. That shows me he's in it for us, not for himself. But the Democrats will tell you he's just trying to enrich himself. He just wants more power. That's a horrible way to do it, by going through that gauntlet of leftists. They're attacking your money. They're trying to throw you in a slammer, ruining your brand. You're not even taking a salary. And they're trying to tell us Trump's doing that because he wants to enrich himself and all of this stuff. But secondly, they sense that Trump is doing things on behalf of the people. Therefore, you can see the logic behind what he's doing. He's not just doing crazy things like the Democrats do, and you say, that doesn't make sense. There's a means to an end. We understand the necessity of the tariffs. We know what he has to do because if he doesn't, what's going to happen to our economy? We don't stand a chance. We don't deal with these issues. And there might be some struggle as we do it, but there's grace because we're saying, I understand why he's doing it. I trust his motive of why he's doing it. That's a key element as well. When Trump makes decisions, I don't have to worry about, is he doing it because he's evil? Is he doing it because he's selfish? Is he doing it just to keep the party in power? Is he doing it because he's a white nationalist, supremacist? Is he a Marxist? Is he whatever? I know what he's doing. He's doing for the betterment of the people. And he explains it to us, and people with common sense can see it. So when you vote for Trump, you're saying, man, first of all, I admire his strength and what he went through to become the president to save us from the crap we was in. So now, to clean up all that crap, I know when he's making tough choices, he means well. Yeah, we're not sitting back saying, "Oh, okay, the stock market dipped 2 points. Oh, that's it. I'm done." Trump, I shouldn't have never did it, man. You know, regardless of how much the fake news come out and say nobody's supporting Trump anymore, they're regretting and all that. No matter how many times they say that, it's not true. The polls show that it's not true. Yeah, no matter how many fake protesters they send into these town hall meetings that are paid, and then they want to get on the news and lie and say these are Republican voters, and I'm going with blue hair. Yeah, that's a Republican voter with a man bun. That's a Republican voter in the town hall meeting with no bass in his voice. That's a Republican voter ripping off Democrat talking points and behaving like radical Democrat protesters who don't want to hear nothing people got to say at the town hall meeting. They're there just to be like, what are you going to do about this? And why is that? That's the MO of Democrat protesters. And they try to convince us that these are all Republicans turning on them. Well, no, our support of Trump is backed up by rationality, logic, observation, and history of showing us that he's loyal to us.
And I've never seen anything like this in my political career, that kind of commitment to a president, even in bad times.
You know why? Because you've never seen a president that committed to the people. Never seen one that laid out all of these things he said he was going to do. And when he gets in the office, he goes hard in the paint. Checking it off the list. Never seen one that's bold enough to address all the stupid stuff that all of us been observing for years and decades, wondering, why isn't somebody doing something about this? Wait a minute, you telling me we can't No, you know what's kind of crazy? That this shouldn't be that hard to solve. Never seen a president come in and show us, you're right. It isn't that hard to solve. They said we couldn't shut down the border. Watch this, we're at 99.9% no crossings. How did that happen? I thought I couldn't do nothing. Congress got to act.
Those who voted for him are still behind him, and they will justify just about anything.
The prognosis is in.
50% of the people in the world have Trump derangement syndrome.
There it is, y'all. Yeah, man, Kevin O'Leary, he went ahead and psychoanalyzed it. Yeah, they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Tell us more about this disease.
And they still have a really hard time understanding why he's back in the White House.
Yep, that disease compromises you. See, that's when you get up there and you say stupid stuff that is not based in reality, like John Legend. The people voted in a white supremacist. He's a bigot. Now we all reaping the benefits. I think the fallout, and I'm going, the fallout's great. I'm loving the fallout. What are you talking? What fallout you talking about? It's all in your head, mentity. Like last night on my show, when I was showing the crazies out there protesting, and the woman's like, people are scared. They can't go to church. They can't go to schools. They're scared to go grocery shopping. I'm going, what reality are you living in? You're psychotic. You formulated all of these things in your head that aren't true. Suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And that's why you'll never get it right. Y'all think all of these folks that voted for Trump sellouts, they're bigots, they're white supremacists, they're all of these things, except for everyday hardworking Americans with common sense to see that he's trying to do the best he can for the whole country. Not just white upper class folks, but they'll never understand it because they're blocked by psychotic Trump derangement syndrome.
Nothing you can do about it. He was elected with a majority. Let's get over the derangement syndrome. Let's focus on the policy and get stuff done.
We wish that could happen, but the Democrats make sure they keep pumping it out there. That's the problem. Yeah, man, they don't want folks to get healed. They don't want nobody to get some deliverance from that TDS. They need to send them all into the church. Brother, what's ailing you? I'm suffering from TDS. Trump, white nationalist, white supremacist, Hitler, not Nazi. Yeah, you got it bad, brother. Lift your hands up in the air. God can deliver you from that TDS. Loose. Put some hands on these folks' heads and cast out that spirit of Trump derangement syndrome. Loose. Get the oil out. Let's continue, though, because they're all walking around. All around us. How do we handle it, Jesse? How do we deal with all these crazy Trump derangement syndrome folks?
Because I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that go out of their minds.
Mr. Wonderful should have been a doctor because he just accurately diagnosed half the globe as cuckoo. And if you've ever been around someone crazy, you know there's nothing you can do.
Nothing
Crazy's gonna crazy.
Nothing you can do. Crazy's gonna crazy. We've seen hundreds of these people on the internet where as soon as they open their mouth or their reaction, you're going, it's useless. No need to even finish talking to you. No need. You are so far out there, so far gone. I just got to chalk it up. I'm not going to even waste the words, the breath, the energy to debate, try to tell you the truth, try to get you to think differently. We all got somebody we know who is suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And at some point you just say, when we're around each other, we probably shouldn't even talk about politics. Because right now, you're blew out. You're too far gone. Yeah, you're in stage 5. So yeah, Jesse, you just got to kind of live with them.
You can't let it affect you. So when I hear Al Gore say he's living under the Third Reich, he must really believe that.
No, he didn't. See, this is the stuff, man. Only somebody psychotic would think living under this regime, under Trump, is equivalent to the Third Reich. I am Hitler, commander of the Third Reich. Little known fact, I'm also Zop on the mic. So now let's hear Al Gore somehow compare the Trump administration to the Third Reich.
I understand very well why it is wrong to compare Adolf Hitler's Third Reich to any other movement. It was unique.
Yep, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's what I'm going to do. Like all the dumb dims do. They start off by, the qualifying. And now, Hitler, we don't want to make comparisons, but watch me do it. Watch me do it.
Uniquely evil, full stop. I get it. But there are important lessons from the history of that emergent evil, and here is one that I regard as essential. The Nazis, and I quote again, attacked the very heart of the distinction between true and false.
Just like the Democrats. True and false. This is a man who's a part of a party that believes men can be women and women can be men. What's true or false? I mean, what party is based in reality and sanity? Do you see us running around believing there's multiple genders and stuff like that? Do you see us talking about some kids should be able to go through transition and boys can use tampons? Do you see us doing that stupid stuff? But this guy is saying that the Nazis created false realities while he's living in one. While this man is trying to convince people that somehow you can make this comparison to the Third Reich and the Trump administration, which would be creating a false reality if anybody believed that. So now this guy's a perpetrator. He is doing exactly what the Nazis did, but he's blaming the Trump administration.
The Trump administration is insisting on trying to create their own preferred version of reality.
Yeah. So let me understand. There's no crisis at the border. The border is closed. The economy is great. Inflation is transitory. All of that. Little boys can be girls. Girls can be boys. They should be able to participate in girls' sports. All of that stuff. You mean like that? Crazy false realities that we all saw with our eyes, but we also saw Democrats get right on TV and try to lie to our own eyeballs. That's not what's happening. That's not what's going on. And here he is talking about that's what the Trump administration's doing. They're trying to create false realities. And I'm going, no, we watch the party of false realities. And that's why we got the crazies running around the streets right now, thinking that Trump's kidnapping people, Trump is attacking kids, he's bullying them. Thinking that stuff because of folks like him. He should be in the Nazi party with those type of lies and manipulations.
And that's where we are today. When a crazy guy comes up to you and says something bad's about to happen, you don't take him seriously. You say, oh, I'm sorry. You slowly back away.
Yeah. Just like all of the crazy folks that I see protesting out there with masks on like COVID's still running rampant. But yet they're protesters. So most likely considering they're radical, liberal activists, they don't want their faces seen because they're probably going to go too far or say something stupid. They don't want nobody to know who they are. See, they're not bold enough to show their faces. However, when COVID was going on, and even now, I'll still see people rocking that mask. And I have to walk past them like I don't recognize that person's crazy. They're psychotic. In their head, it's still out there. In their head, it's wreaking havoc. They're not seeing bodies piled up anywhere. They're not seeing people walking around with boils all over them. They ain't seeing nobody where they like, get them away from them. Unclean. None of that's going on, but they're still out there rocking masks in the car by themselves. And I have to do everything I can to live amongst them without laughing or saying something. I'd be so tempted to go up to them like, what are you doing? Why do you have a mask on again? Got COVID? What? Give me that mask. Oh, God. Hey, I can breathe. Yeah, you probably couldn't breathe because you've been rocking that mask for like 4 years. See? Take a whiff. You're free. You're delivered. Go live your life. COVID free. Unbelievable. Let's continue though.
But when half the world is screaming something bad's going to happen, you can't let yourself get worked up.
Yeah.
You just have to learn to live with these people. You learn to live with crazy. The stock market was up 1,000 points today, but they keep saying we're on the brink of a recession.
Isn't that odd? That all the good things that were happening that Trump was doing, you turn on CNN, MSNBC, and they said, that's horrible. Everything's falling to pieces. He's bullying kids. He's going after old people. Elon Musk is stealing data. Yeah, you see all the wonderful things happening, and you say, how could they misinterpret this? How could they? You see Trump honored a little boy, telling he's an honorary Secret Serviceman, but you go over to MSNBC, and what are they talking about? This was a disgrace, how he politicized his kid. And I'm saying, what were y'all watching? Wait a minute. Are y'all psychotic? Or are y'all trying to convince others to become psychotic? To see something, and you go, people in reality see it this way. People who are psychotic sees it as he's politicizing a little kid.
Well, the CEO of Chevron, kind of a big deal, says, no, we're not. We're not even close.
Hit him with some
You
reality.
don't think we're headed into a recession in your plans at this point?
There's no signs that we see at this point that we're in or close to a recession.
Now, you know what's funny? The sad part is they are saying things that aren't true, but they're also wishing for it to become true. When they're talking about we're going into a recession, they're hoping that we go into a recession. All the negative things and all the negative spin that they put on everything Trump is doing, they're hoping that it collapses. When they say that tariffs aren't working and trade war is going to destroy us, they don't want him to be successful. Even though it's working, they're saying it's not working. I guess they're trying to speak it into existence like they're in a church or something. I speak it into existence. But it ain't working. See, you got to know Jesus to do that, not Diablos. I'm speaking some evil on Trump and the whole country. I'm hoping we lose to China. Yeah, I'm hoping the Ukrainian war continues and we keep sending money and wasting it to all the Ukrainians are dead. I'm hoping deporting all of these illegal immigrants out the country fails and all of these illegal immigrants stay here, including the violent ones. They're hoping all negativity on the country. So let's get
said the world was going to side with China.
Yeah,
and China was going to eat our lunch.
That's what they were
saying.
saying.
No one wins a trade war, they said. Mm-hmm. So why are all these countries flying here to do deals with us?
Yeah.
You have the entire trade team meeting with 34 countries this week alone. Yes. We are moving at Trump speed to ensure these deals are made.
Y'all hear that? That's a real president. That's why we support him. He's booking. Booking. See, he didn't come up in that mug stretching first, starting off with a brisk walk, the speed walk, then a slight jog. Trump came in day one like pop. There it is. He had the fan hands. You look at his hands, he was moving so fast, it looked like fans. He was booking. Jumped in, talking about we're going to do this. Even before he was sworn in, he was up here cutting deals. That's a president. He's moving at warp speed. He ain't acting like no lame duck president. Ride it out. You know what I'm saying? No, he's like, man, I got stuff to do. They already stole 4 years from me. Now I got to make up for lost time. So now look at all these wonderful things he's doing, y'all. But they'll tell you that it's all horrible and we're offending all of our allies and our friends. Why are we doing this to them? That's been taking advantage of us for all of these years.
On behalf of the American worker and the American people.
34 countries. Well, they say China's the big kahuna. They have 1 billion people. Well, we just found 1 billion more.
We're especially excited to formally announce that America and India have officially finalized the terms of reference for the trade negotiation. I think this is a vital step.
Me too. Well, they say we were living in Nazi Germany.
Now, wait a minute. Jesse, you think they're going to get on the news and celebrate that? You think they're going to sit back and say, that's good progress? You turn on any of these fake news networks, the ones that claim that independent reporter inside of the White House shouldn't be there. She's not legit. She don't have the credentials. But yet they can't find one good thing. They will spin that. They will turn on all the Indians all of a sudden, all the people of color. Well, I mean, the Indian population have been known to be very monolithic. I sense that they believe in nationalism, which would show that they are very racist. They don't allow a lot of different people or races to live in India. So it's obvious why they like Trump and wants to negotiate with him. They would figure out some way to make that reality of it being good seem bad, which means they got to be psychotic.
Okay, so how do you explain all these countries flying here to have lunch and invest?
Good question.
Is India a Nazi collaborator?
Yeah. See, false realities. They're making people psychotic. Racism, sexism, xenophobia. America's horrible. We're deporting all of these people who did nothing, but they're all coming. They all want to come. That's the reality that the Democrats are trying to sell to the people. Only psychotic people would buy into that and say, we're treating people horrible. There's so much racism and stuff. While you see all these people rushing to the border, trying to get across, sad that they're leaving, crying that they're being sent back from this racist, white supremacist, white nationalist country. There you go. But yet they'll tell you that. And in people's heads, that's a reality. They don't understand how that's a conflict of interest. Horrible country, racism, but everybody wants to come.
See what I mean? The Europeans just announced a $50 billion manufacturing investment here. 12,000 jobs, made in America. Does that sound like a recession?
No. Go Trump. Go Trump. Go Trump. Looks like we're making progress. Now, when Trump solve all of this mess, I wonder what they're going to say. When we finally go ahead, get great trade deals, and when Zelensky finally get beat up enough to where he finally says, I'm tapping out, and they solve that mess, all of these issues that they're trying to make seem like, oh, Trump doesn't, he's not going to be able to do. When all of these things pan out, economy is tight, jobs are back here, folks make, I wonder what they're going to say then. I wonder what they're going to say. Well, fine. The economy's good and crime is a lot better and our military has grown and it's more stronger than ever. And China right now is on their back heels. But so what? Only the rich got richer and it's all been done for the richest of the rich. And I still sense racism against. See, they will still try to spin it because they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome and they are spreading it across our country to only impressionable people.
Is that chaotic? Maybe the process can seem chaotic to some people because it's never been done before, but the results aren't. Trump's the first president in 40 years to cut waste, fraud, and abuse.
That's good.
Democrats are jealous that he's doing things that they ran on and never did.
I'm jealous. That's right. And that's why they couldn't have another Trump. That last 4 years. They said, we got to stop this dude. You know why? Because he's showing how the country should be ran. There it is. We all been faking the funk, doing the minimum. You know what I'm saying? Fake it till we make it. Make the people think we're doing stuff. We got our system in place and set up. We got the folks thinking, well, I guess this is the way it is. I guess these things operate very slowly. I guess there's a lot of red tape that needs to go through. That's just how government is. And Trump came in and was like, why? Why do we need to do that? Let me show you how things could be. And that embarrassed and put a spotlight on rhinos. It put a spotlight on the Dems. It put a spotlight on the fake media who supports the Dems. And now they're going, we can't have this. The people might expect us to do stuff instead of just say stuff. And look at Trump exposing us.
That's what's making them crazy. Their dirty little playbook was to say they were going to do stuff, never do it, and then just keep running on it again and again and again so they can be politicians for life.
There it is. Because see, remember, Trump's doing this to enrich himself and become more richer and that for all the power and stuff. But he got all that stuff. He got all the money and all of that stuff. They don't. So they come in and that's their only gig. They didn't build a company. They're not making billions of dollars because of real estate deals and negotiations and all of this stuff. They didn't do that. They're relying on dipping the people and creating agencies for slush funds like USAID that they're trying to protect. That's what they're relying on in inside trading. See, so they're really jealous, y'all.
And get rich insider trading and taking half the week off. But Trump's fixing the problems and finding their fraud. So the jig's up. And when they say the world's going to end, yeah, their world's ending.
Oh, snap, Jesse. Why you gonna call them out like that? That's the truth. When they sitting back telling these people, y'all need to jump on board and save our life. I mean, save USAID because of Ebola and the measles and the monks are coming back. And this money saves children overseas. And you know what? Just help save our slush fund. Trump is exposing this mess. He gonna take away all of that money we've been shaving off, reallocating it back to supporting our campaign. And you know what? Send it to our friend. He go ahead, run the operation, donate, kick somebody. All of the stupid stuff that Elon was pointing out. Yeah, now that stuff is being exposed and done away with. So really, these Democrats are convincing the psychotic supporters to get on board with this, to save them, to save their lives. That's what they're doing. It's not about the people and their jobs and their privacy. None of that. It's about our money. Yeah, we got this thing set up perfectly. And Trump had to come in here doing stuff.
Their reality's over, and they never thought it would happen. Yeah. So they're having a hard time coming to grips with reality. Jesse. Clinical psychiatrists call this a psychotic break.
Thank you, Jesse, for diagnosing them. Psychotic break. Tell us more about this psychotic break.
When you sever yourself from reality and live in a different world that you've created in your own mind.
Yeah, everything's so bad, Trump. I had to break it down to one of my friends the first term of Trump. About 2 years in, she gonna ask me, so you still support your boy Trump? As if I was gonna be like, man, see? No, man, you mad. I was like, yeah, of course, why not? She's like, what? You do? I was absolutely. How could you? I mean, things are so bad. I said, how bad are they? Bad. Give me an example. Like what? How are things bad for you personally? I mean, not me. I said, well, if it's not you, you're just believing other people's realities. You're believing, I said, what in your everyday life have you experienced? Are you able to go to the grocery store without all the racism they're telling you that exists? Yeah, well, yeah. Is your job secure? Yeah, really secure. We're making lots of money. You're making money. Nobody's attacking you. No racists are running around. No white supremacists are chasing you. But you in your head thinks everything's so bad. And it hit her. Like, that's all in my head, mentity. It's not a reality. See, and that's what they want. They want to get people into the position that in their head, things are chaotic, it's crazy, everything's bad. And when you break it down and say, explain that, show me evidence, break that down to me, they can't.
These are the people we're dealing with. They said we couldn't just shut down the border without Congress, remember? That was a lie.
Can't do nothing.
And we just saw the lowest border crossings in the history of March.
Like what?
They're down 99.9% from Joe.
Oh my goodness. That's like perfect. So does that mean that they were lying? That's my question, Jesse. Did that mean that the last administration, when every time they had to talk about it, they always deferred back to Congress? Congress has to do something. So were they lying to us, Jesse? Do you think their supporters realize that now, as they're able to see a president that's able to do what he said he would do, use his office to help the people and do the right thing? Shouldn't their supporters look at them and say, hey, how did Trump do that and y'all couldn't? Why were y'all telling us can't do nothing? Congress, it's out of my hands. Well, y'all lying to us, but we'll still vote for you.
The White House says you can't get much better than that.
True.
Trump's proving that the president has more power than they wanted you to know.
Bam.
And they're terrified next time they're in power, voters are going to expect more. Well, Trump did it. Why can't you?
Whoa, so Trump set a high bar? So the next raggedy Democrat, which I hope never, ever, ever takes power, we're going to be going, hey, you said when you got in you were going to do A, B, and C. When are you going to get back to us? When are we going to get the report card? When are we going to get the progress cards? Why aren't you coming out to the mic doing all these interviews and taking all these questions and explaining this is where we're at? This is what we found. This is what we're doing. This is how long it's going to take. Why aren't you breaking it down like Trump did? See? So they want to get the people programmed or reprogrammed back to accepting mediocrity, accepting garbage, accepting, the same crap every year after. They want us like that, zombies, not looking or evaluating their work so they can do whatever they want. Yeah, keep us preoccupied, distracted, and stuff like that. So they got to get us back to that. They don't want us to get used to something like this. Trump knocking it out the park.
Trump closed the border, cut trade deals, lowered gas prices, slashed waste. Why can't you? Voters are going to expect results now.
Yeah.
And the crazy people who usually run the show don't want voters expecting results.
No.
Because that means voters are going to judge them.
Yeah.
And politicians, they like to be the judge.
Yeah.
Once you flip it on them, it's game over.
Game over. And they know it. That is why they're trying to create this false reality that all the good stuff that Trump is doing is bad. Bad. They know it. They cannot let the people really see what's going on in reality. So that's where you get them flipping everything that Trump does. Somebody said, show us your shirt. Yeah, it's my, silverback gorilla shirt. There it is. Kevin's Corner. Gorilla Clan. Yeah. So yeah, they want to convince as many people as they can. Don't listen to Trump. Don't buy into it. I know they're telling you he's doing stuff, but it's bad. It's bad. Trust us. It's bad. What they said that no. That's not good. He's not really digging out the waste and the fraud. No, he's not really doing that. He's really trying to enrich his billionaire friends. They're trying to convince people into a false reality. Because if they start seeing Trump realistically and all of his policies and stuff like that, they will never support or vote for Democrats again. They need people psychotic. They need people walking around living in a false reality. Because if they live in reality, they're going to start looking at the Democrats like, wait a minute, y'all had us believing that we was in the Matrix. Y'all downloaded a whole bunch of falseness in our brains, starting off with telling us boys can't be girls and girls can't be boys. That right there is the beginning of the reality litmus test.
They're all about debating the process.
Yeah,
it's got to be done this way. No, it has to be done this way. Oh, we're going to sue. No, we're going to have a commission. We're going to have legislation. That keeps everybody arguing and distracted and lawyered up. Why do you think they're flying to El Salvador to undeport MS-13?
Oh, why are they doing that, Jesse? Stupidity? Or is they going to focus on the process?
Even though he ended up out of the country, they didn't like the process.
Yeah, the process.
The El Salvador 4 are still down there waiting to get margaritas with
They're
the
still
gang
down there?
But he's in jail because he's a gang member. So now they're just doing CNN hits from the hotel.
Oh, snap. So they went down there to do a press conference and some PR with CNN. They're still down there wasting their time. So let's see what they're saying as they're trying to create another false reality that we all should care about this MS-13 gangbanger. Because if Trump can do it to him, he can do it to us.
Why did you feel it was important to travel to El Salvador now?
To save all of our illegal immigrants that we brought in 4 years. That's what we're doing and slow Trump down.
Well, the main thing is that in this country, everybody is entitled to due process.
There it is, due process.
Just Kilmer Garcia. This is about due process.
Due process.
The due process is not a optional.
Due process. That's what it is. It's due process. They can no longer win on he's just a Maryland man and he's a great guy and a father and he ain't never did nothing. So now they got to pivot and go from Maryland man to due process.
That is a must right in the United States of America.
Donald Trump is following the same authoritarian playbook as others around the world, and by just not following the law.
Oh, God. create the false reality. You're making people psychotic. You're lying to people and telling them Trump's not following the law. He's like all the other dictators around. Could it be that he's like all of the other common sense presidents and countries and leaders who aren't allowing folks to just come into their country illegally? Could that be it? Dictator or not, everybody, every country should be like, yo, where you going, man? You can't just come up in this mug and stay. That right there should be universal when it comes down to a country that is a sovereign nation and has a good leader. They should all be going, we need to know who you are, state your business, come the right way. But according to her, all these dictators, now I'm wondering, where are all the other dictators around the country, around the world, who are deporting all of these people that invaded their country, 11 million plus? Nobody else is doing it because they don't have to, okay? All these places are smarter than us. We're the only dummies that let 11 million of them come into our country in 3.5 years.
The El Salvador 4 don't care about due process. They just want to slow down the process.
Thank you, Jesse.
Trump deported these bad hombres so fast that it's making Democrats look feckless.
Lickety split.
So they want every illegal alien gang member to get a lawyer, a hearing, and a year of appeals at least.
Drag it out.
And then they want to make Trump look like he's breaking the law. Remember, that's what they tried the last election and it didn't work? No. What's the definition of insanity? Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
That means the whole Democrat Party and the fake news is insane. He's a racist. He's a xenophobe. He's a homophobe. He's a dictator. He's Hitler. He's Mussolini. Then they let that dry down a little bit. Come right back. Oh, he's a Russian agent. You know what? He's Putin's puppet. He's an evil genius. He's a diabolical genius. All of these things, they recycle all of it over and over and over again. And they haven't come to the conclusion that that didn't work. He's getting stronger. He's getting more popular. No matter how much we lie to people, say Trump's not popular. And then he walks into a UFC event and everybody goes crazy. They take a CNN poll and it shows everybody likes him. But if we keep saying it, if we keep running those narratives over and over again, at some point it'll come to pass. Tell us more, Jesse, before you destroy somebody at the end of my show.
These people are crazy. But what happens when you stand next to a crazy person? You look good. You don't even have to do anything except not act crazy.
Yeah, because all the attention is going to be on a person that's looking around talking about, you see that? No, I don't see that. Making noises. Telling you, nobody's looking at the same folks. When I used to live in Cincinnati, they would have salsa on the square. And one day, got down there early, all the people was out. No music playing, but some crazy dude was in the middle of the street just jamming to whatever was going on in his head. Now, you think that people are looking at the same folks? No. All the same folks was looking at the crazy person. That's what the Democrat Party is looking like right now. Everybody's going, why are they down there trying to get a gangbanger back into the country? Compared to Trump, they crazy. Trump sending them out. All he got to do is stand there going, I sent out this gangbanger. And then, show y'all. See, these people sitting next to him, talking and sitting at the, dining with them and stuff. And yeah, which of these pictures look more crazy? Which one do your eyes go to? Me sending the crazy gangbangers out? Or do you focus on the dummies trying to bring them back in? Trump looked great compared to these idiots.
And the funny thing about crazy people is that they don't know they're crazy. So Republicans are offering to pay for any Democrat who wants to go to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Just one condition. They have to live stream the whole thing. And
do that.
Plenty of selfies.
Yeah. Show us all of your activism. See, they don't realize that this is horrible. I said it the other day. This is the dumbest political decision ever. They're crazy, but in their heads, it's working. It's making sense. It's all going to work out. It's going to pan out. The people will finally catch on. Yeah. Now, this guy went down there and he got clowned for going. You know what we should do? Let's all go down there and support him. In their head, they think this mess is working. They don't even stop to say, wait, didn't we lose an election based on that? And also the kids and bathrooms and all the other stupid stuff. Didn't we lose an election because of that stuff? But you know what we should do? Double down on it.
It's like handing a crazy person an iPhone. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're going to laugh. And the so-called smart Democrats,
What?
strategists.
Is there such a
They're
thing?
all in They say, let's all go to El Salvador.
Yeah, do it.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Gotta try not to scream about all of this. Yeah. But just
I'm gonna scream about it.
Scream about it
right now.
Good. Yes. Thank you. Because I can't anymore. My head's gonna pop off my body.
Yeah.
I'm so pulsing with rage right now.
Because you're a bubblehead.
It's like, if we are not willing to stand up here, then I don't know what we are fighting for or what we stand for or who we are.
You hear these dummies? My head's about to pop off because you're a bubblehead. That's why. And this guy,
If we don't take a stand here, neither one of them have any bass in their voice. They're both up there at that talking after sucking in helium. So here they are. If we don't take a stand here, then I don't know what we're doing.
what stand are you taking? What are you fighting for? See, this once again shows psychotic. You're psychotic. You think you're fighting for something, and I'm going, what are you fighting for? I mean, no American is getting the rights rolled back. They're not being sent out the country. But you're talking about taking a stance for nothing. You're taking a stance for a illegal gang-banging immigrant and whining about his due process on the premise that all of our rights are going to be rolled back because you bought into a false reality. There it is. You're psychotic because for some reason you think that illegal immigrants that are gangbangers are equivalent to American citizens. That makes you crazy. Yeah, you're not living in reality when you're thinking, let's go out and fight, we need to take a stance. And that is how they get all of their protesters, activists, and supporters. They get them all like that, where they run out there and they buy into a false reality that isn't real and they think they're fighting for it. Our rights are being rolled back. Which ones? I can't really think of the ones right now, but all of them. That's what they do. That right there shows you are psychotic.
This never happened when Nancy was in charge.
Nasty.
She wouldn't let her members fly to foreign countries for photo ops with MS-13.
No, she wouldn't.
The guy has MS-13 tatted on his knuckles. Even Nancy knows better than that.
However, Nancy did come out, and you know what she said, y'all. Donald Trump, he called all of those MS-13 gang members animals. No, they're not animals. They're all children of God. She did say that. Nasty did fix that mush mouth, monkey paw hands to come out and try to tell us that those MS-13 gangbangers are all children of God. And that didn't go over too well.
She had everybody disciplined. And if you got out of line, she'd cut your throat.
Now that is true. She was calculated. Yeah, man, when she had the juice before that hit went bad, you don't hear much from Nasty these days. But Nasty's still in the game somehow. And you would think Nasty would rein these crazy folks in. Like, what are you doing? I mean, I know we're radical and crazy, but not that crazy. I'm just evil. Y'all crazy. That's the difference.
Hakeem's running the show, and
Hawker?
He's afraid of his own base.
Yeah.
So the base is out of control. AOC's beefing with Fetterman, Dave Hogg, scrapping with Carville.
Chaos.
Colleagues are trying to coup Schumer. She'd never tolerate Jasmine Crockett and her little shenanigans.
That's right. Cut those eyebrows. That's what you need to do. Cut those eyelashes. So now, Jesse is about to bring one of the greatest reality checks to Jessica on the 5 that I've ever heard concerning this craziness about this dude from El Salvador. Jesse had to prove to her that you're psychotic. The way you see this is a false reality.
Pelosi was the psych warden, kept all these kooks in line. And unlike the first term, Trump's not even bothering with these people.
Nah.
He's focused on the big stuff like peace, trade, and borders, and letting the results speak for themselves.
Yeah. So here it goes. Y'all ready for a beatdown for the ages? Jesse summed up how every rational, common sense American is seeing the Democrat Party in this situation with this gangbanger from El Salvador. Jesse, help Jessica out.
Well, Jessica keeps on saying there's all these mistakes. First, she said this guy was picked up because he had a bull's hat. And then he has tattoos on his hand that spell MS-13.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
true.
Read the symbolism, Jessica. What are you, a gang detective?
See the dummy? You see the person is psychotic? You see the woman who's not living in reality? That's not true. Just because I say it's not true, and they told me it's not true. That's our talking point. Are you kidding me? Poor Jessica. She's like a lamb to the slaughter. And deer in headlights right now. That's not true. He's like, Jessica, come on. What are you, the gang? The man was caught with MS-13 people. See, this is the reality. You're finding a way to justify your false reality. You're overlooking all the stuff, all the keys that shows that this dude is a gang member. He was pulled over with other gang members. He got MS-13 markings on his knuckles. I mean, that pretty much seals the deal. He's a gang member, but that's not true. So Jesse had to show her, you're crazy if you don't believe that's true.
Cut it out. And then he's wearing paraphernalia that says the slogan for MS-13.
Yeah, all of those keys, all of those factors mean nothing to a crazy person. We come out and we tell people, what have Trump ever done to show you that he's racist? I don't know. All kind of stuff. What did Trump ever say to inspire an insurrection? All kind of stuff. He told everybody to do stuff. You ask them all these questions and they don't even know the answer to. They can't even provide the information. And you're going, I just showed you all of this evidence. I just went ahead and blew up every single narrative. I'm showing you all of these clues, but you're not able to put them together. They're beautifully laid out. And we present arguments and information to, and I'm talking about conservative commentators for the most part, present common sense information, logic, and facts to whereas if you are a rational person trying to seek the truth or you're subjective, you would be like, yeah, that makes sense. I see all the clues coming together. It's too many clues for me to overlook. Jessica is willing to overlook all of that. Forget the knuckle paints. Forget the paraphernalia. Forget him being pulled over in a car with MS-13 other gang members. Forget all of that. It's not true. It's not proven.
And then he gets caught up in a gang sweep with ranking members of MS-13 as part of a murder investigation.
Wow. All of that piled up, Jessica. That's not true. David Hogg, he's not an MS-13 gang member. You darn well know that. That's not true. Jesse, help bring her back into reality because she's psychotic.
Then gets pulled over, he's suspected of human trafficking, then gets accused of slugging his wife twice, and she has it on video. And suddenly...
On video? Nobody's showing that? Nobody. The Democrats don't want to get that video and put that on the internet. Y'all don't want to see him smacking his wife around? So what else, Jesse? Bring these people back into reality about this mess.
His name isn't Maryland Dad, it's due process.
Look at that. Jesse's building a case, laying out an argument. How is it that he went from Maryland Dad to due process just that quick? Could it be that the Democrats realize there's too much evidence that he is a gang member of MS-13 for them to continue saying, that's not true, he's not a gang member? So now they had to pivot to due process. Tell him, Jesse.
You transitioned pretty quickly, Jessica. And to say this administration never admits a mistake, you guys never admitted you opened the border for 4 years.
Oh, snap! Jesse, tell her how you feel. See, he's bringing her out of it. See, when you're dealing with people who are living in a false reality, you can't encourage that. You got to give them the hard truth. You can't support their delusion. There it is. Yeah, don't send somebody that I think I'm a girl. And no, you're not. Stop that. Stop that. You're not a woman. You're a man who thinks you're a woman. Okay. And some things you just gotta just cut through. Don't try to pet them. I understand. I mean, those feelings are valid. People go, no, that's crazy. That's what you gotta say to them. That's crazy. So now he's breaking this mess down. And he's been beating his girlfriend, and it's a video out there. But Jessica, that due process.
Come on. You're saying this guy you're saying this guy's afraid to go home? Because that's funny. In 2019, when he was popped, he said he wasn't afraid to go home, Jessica. Yeah. Funny that you're into due process now.
He's trying to help her. He's trying to heal her. But she's still fighting. She's fighting to stay crazy. She's fighting to stay psychotic, but it's getting, few in between. You hear it. That's not true. I mean, come on. Yeah, Jesse's breaking it down to her to where all of the interruptions are becoming few and far in between. She's like, oh, shoot, he did what? I didn't even know that. Of course she didn't. Let's continue.
After bringing us the Me Too movement, cancel culture, and the Trump trials, you can't break into the country and ignore the process of coming here and then want a process to leave.
Oh, Jesse. You think Jessica's coming up out of it? You think right now she's getting her deliverance?
You cannot cut the line to come here and then ask to be put in a line to go home.
Bam! You wanted the express line to get in here? Well, you get the express line to get out of here. There it is. Why should we be sitting back talking about, all right, there are some lines, that you actually don't want to be first in. Like going to jail, going to hell. That's one line you don't want to be first. I mean, you're at the BMV. Yeah, I want to be first. But if you're in a line going to hell, you're like, you can go ahead. You can have a cut. Go ahead. If you're in a line getting deported from our country, you can have a cut. But you cut everybody else to get in here. All of those people that's doing the paperwork, signing up, going through the process, y'all cut everybody. Now you're talking about deport other people, not me. I want my due process. Y'all can go ahead. And I'm going, no, man, it don't work that way. Tell them, Jesse.
If you guys are going to be the defense attorneys for every criminal gangbanger in America, after you've allowed the gangs to invade?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. The defense attorney for all the gangbangers in America. That's not a good look. Not a good look. After letting them invade the country. Now, understand, we wouldn't have to deal with this problem of due process if it wasn't for her party. Yeah, all of that lack of due process, allowing these people to come in, now it's a problem. So Trump's solving it, and now they want due process. We shouldn't have to even deal with this. It was treason the way they brought all these people in here. But now all of a sudden they want to keep them because of due process.
And now say all of them need lawyers? It's going to be an eternity, Jessica, to get these people out of here. Johnny went to Baltimore, and the people of Maryland are laughing at you.
Yes.
Blacks, Hispanics, whites, they think it's ridiculous what Van Hollen has done.
Yes! And I showed some of those people last night during my live stream. I showed them last night during my live stream where they were going, that's crazy. Let's continue.
To be able to defend foreign rights instead of the rights of the American people. And the slippery slope argument. Is this the slipperiest slope you've ever seen? If they deport an MS-13 terrorist, you're next. Who? The Puerto Ricans? Anybody with a tan, Jessica? Are you next? No one believes that. This is the dictator hoax all over again. And you lost on that the last time.
Bam! Thank you, Jesse. Jesse just showed her the reality. Y'all lost on all of that. The slippery slope trying to connect all of us to why we should support these gangbangers going through due process, because he could just send us all out there. Nobody believes that except for people who are psychotic. People who are crazy enough to really believe that that's what Trump is doing. And the Democrats are doing everything they can to break American citizens' mentality and make them buy into why we should be supporting this stupid cause to bring this gangbanger back to the country. But Jesse ain't on it. I enjoyed Jesse's Waters World today. I decided to leave Kevin's Corner and go to Waters World for a quick second so Jesse can lay out a wonderful case that exposes this nonsense. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. Boy, I tell you, stay sane out there, everybody. It's a lot of craziness going around. Not a TDS, but I'm so glad we're immune to that mess. Yeah. So God bless y'all. Don't forget, hit the like button on the way out. Share my videos. Follow me on all the other platforms. Now see the dogs up here. Both of them. As soon as I say God bless, they're both jumping on me. No, down. But anyway, I should be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Nala, you know what? You're about to get it. Somebody's going to get hurt. Don't wag your tail at me. Don't look that way. Anyway. So hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, you can through checking out Kevin's Corner store, or you can help out through my CASHAPP, PayPal, and all that stuff. Thanks to those that gave in the super chat, and follow me on all the other platforms. All right, I think that about does it. Let's get out of here. Ain't it good to know you aren't crazy? You got your right mind, boy. But we know a lot of folks out there who don't. This is our city. I know you see the way we tear up the place, yeah. Take care.